those guys did a fantastic job. We wish all dealerships would model after that, because there's a lot of dealerships that are just sending that business out the door. And so as a fulfillment partner, we're hoping to find more of those and actually to kind of cross over some of your live ready philosophies and process. I've got my leadership team coming here in a couple months to meet with you. But the goal with that will be to kind of roundtable afterward and say, how do we create a curriculum so we can model best practices at the dealership level? We service the upfit shops and the off-road suspension guys and all the other people that do that every day, but how do we empower the dealerships to capture that revenue at that storefront? And what the model you had is a perfect example of what we want to do as a best practice.
Live ready, reach higher, chase the sky, beyond thinking, grow rich, you'll learn to fly.
Welcome to the Live Ready podcast, Beyond Thinking, Grow Rich, with me, your host, David Ibarra. And today we have as our guest, Royal Coburn. Welcome, Royal.
Thank you, David. I'm really glad to be here and excited to have a conversation.
Now, Royal, you're the president, or a new president of
Competition Specialties.
Competition Specialties.
Correct.
Now, tell me a little bit about what you do. I know you're in the parts accessory business, but tell me a little bit about what it is that your business does.
Yeah, so Competition Specialties, we're a warehouse distribution network across the West. We have a warehouse in Seattle, a warehouse in Portland, and a warehouse down in LA. And our goal is to support the aftermarket side of things. So for all the car dealership businesses out there, we're the guys behind the scenes that are supplying your tonneau covers, your lift kits, your WeatherTech floor mats, not to say brands on TV, but but all the goodies and the fun stuff that come post sale from a dealership. And then,
well, you can say brands.
We can say brands, okay,
for sure.
But beyond just the dealership world, we also do a lot of the upfitter companies. So your 4x4 off-road shops, your suspension companies, your lift companies, spray and bedliner companies, window tint shops, anybody that's in the automotive aftermarket. Those are the customers.
You're the individual, you're the company, you're the folks that go into an automobile dealership and make somebody's purchase of a pickup truck personalized to them.
Exactly.
When I was in the automotive business running a Ford store for 10 years as a general manager, there was like an 82% of the people that bought a pickup F-150 truck personalized it.
Correct.
Are those numbers still?
Huge odds. And that's part of one of the things what we really try to help dealerships accomplish is when you have 82% of these people that are upfitting their vehicles, especially trucks, you bought it for the purpose of that bed, to watch that business just go right down the street to a competitor or to an upfit shop. It was such a missed opportunity. And these dealerships spent a ton of money for radio ads and billboards and TV and everything they do. That's your guest that you brought in. Make sure that you're taking care of them and setting them up for the next 5 years on that vehicle.
Well, we ended up building a station that you stopped at after you had purchased the truck. And I'll say truck because most of the time that is what we really did some specialty things with. And some of our high-end cars, we put special wheels and things of that nature. But there was a software that we had bought, Royal, that we could come in, your car come driving into the software on the big screen behind us, and then you could pick out a lift kit, you could pick out wheels, and you could hear the wheel come off and the new ones come on, and you could see exactly how that vehicle was going to look, customizing it to your taste. Do you still do a lot of that kind of work?
We don't specifically. So we're more the fulfillment partner on the back end, so with the warehouse. But a lot of dealerships have made sure they set up their accessory department to have that experience with that consumer, because if you can get them excited about what their vehicle could look like, that dealership's going to close those accessory sales. And that's where we come in, is we want to make sure that we're their first call to say, I need these products, can you get it to me, and how quickly can you have it here? But yeah, I'm familiar with, old Henry Day Ford, I think is where you're talking. And I don't know if you know this part of the story, but my journey into aftermarket accessories started as one of the Henry Day Outfitter salespeople.
Really?
Yeah, back in 2003, 2004.
Okay, so you were there when we went to the new building and built that.
I wasn't at the new building yet.
Okay.
I was still out on Redwood Road.
Okay, out on Redwood Road.
So I was there for about 6 months, and what got me into the distribution side is one of our suppliers at Henry Day Ford reached out to me and said, we'd like you to be an outside sales rep. So that's kind of where my journey went. I had a great relationship. I knew Jeremy Day, and Brandon Smith was the parts manager at the time.
Yes.
You know, he wished me the best, and I went and became an outside sales rep.
Man, it's a small world.
Small world. That's
small world. And when we moved to the new location, we built a section that was just incredibly impressive.
Correct.
When you walked into it with the big screens and everything on display, getting with our supply partners and bringing that information into where we could give a visual of what it would look like. I always like to say to everybody, you know, change is sometimes difficult for business. And I look at some of the folks that got their arms around it, like, in this case, outfitters. A car comes in, we have it on a big screen so you can see your vehicle, and then we show it with the changes. You don't quite like those wheels come up, new ones come. And when you get done, you see it perfectly. And that's bringing some of what would have been researched in the virtual space into the physical space and making the two of them blend properly with the opportunity of having your guide with you, the representative from the company you just bought your vehicle from.
Exactly. And those guys did a fantastic job. We wish all dealerships would model after that, because there's a lot of dealerships that are just sending that business out the door. And so as a fulfillment partner, we're hoping to find more of those and actually to kind of cross over some of your live ready philosophies and process. I've got my leadership team coming here in a couple months to meet with you. But the goal with that will be to kind of roundtable afterward and say, how do we create a curriculum so we can model best practices at the dealership level? We service the upfit shops and the off-road suspension guys and all the other people that do that every day, but how do we empower the dealerships to capture that revenue at that storefront? And what the model you had is a perfect example of what we want to do as a best practice.
At the Leadership Summit, which we have every month here in Salt Lake City, bring people from all over the country here to go through the 7 modules of what is leadership. And certainly managing change is one of them. And so many people, Royal, are afraid of change, and they immediately don't even realize their state of mind goes into protecting what is and arguing why the something new that is creeping in is never going to make it, and they get left behind.
They do. And if they don't evolve, other dealerships are taking advantage of it. And like I mentioned earlier, they make such an investment to bring that guest into their showroom. Why are they letting those opportunities walk right out the door?
Well, you know, as being at the Leadership Summit, that I always talk about, or in my new book, Creating How Power, that will be released in 60 days, I talk about the story of folks that have done that well. You look at folks like Chick-fil-A, who takes a pandemic, and they're doing about $4 million per location. And you look at McDonald's, you look at Burger King, and woe is me. And then, for whatever reason, Chick-fil-A says, we're going to figure this out. Yep. And they reinvent the drive, and they have 3-4 people out there with the headsets. They have a traffic jam going down the street of the public street coming in, and they go from 4 million to 8 million.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Innovation and capturing the opportunity. Well, and like you said, too many people just resist change.
I think that bringing your team, I'm delighted that we're going to be spending some time. But let's talk now about leadership. You just recently became the president of this company, and you're not a small company.
No, so we're mid-size. We're 63, about 40 million annual revenue. So this particular company, it's diversified. It's a 60-year established company. So it was founded by the Woomers, and they recently sold in 2023. Post-COVID, numbers were good, and they found a nice exit opportunity. So they of course, met with our buying group, and our ownership group is a private equity group, but small. Our ownership owns about 4 or 5 portfolio companies. Also connected to the OEMs with Stellantis. You might be familiar with Helm, but they're a sister company of ours. But I was kind of pinged by them to kind of look at the next chapter for Comp Specialties. They've done a great job for the last 60 years. A lot of good personnel, a lot of good people, but some of their processes definitely had room for improvement. And we just needed to find what's the next stepping stone for scale. So that's where I've come in. I came in June, and we've been completely tearing everything apart from cost structure, operations, logistics.
You know, you've always heard the term, don't break it unless it's broke. And I've always said that is a absolute state of mind setting. It's not right.
It's not, exactly.
You should break it. I always say you break everything that you're doing every November. And that's the month you look at change for the upcoming year and see if it goes back together. If it goes back the same way, well, perfect. If there's some additional parts because times have changed and there's another opportunity, then add.
Yep, great advice.
And outfit it.
Great advice. We've been stress testing a lot of our processes, but we've also been trying to preserve some of the talent that's been there that maybe just didn't have some of the resources or some of the support from their leadership to empower them to succeed.
That just brings me into a thought. Protect and to grow some of the talent that's already there. Let's take a look at another story that just really, I look at it and it blows my mind how this occurred. But let's talk about Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's was the place when you wanted to have something special. You wanted to have an experience in buying shoes. Boy, you were assigned a guide and you'd show them the shoes and they would take your old shoes off for you. They wouldn't allow you to bend over and unlace them. They would put you in that measurement contraption. And you knew what your size was, but it was just part of the whole process. Went up to the back, came back with 4 boxes, the shoes you were interested, and 3 others. And they stayed right with you and made it an experience that, wow. Same thing with suits. They had all of the finest suits you would find, and you would get fitted by a professional. Then, some way, somehow, I don't know if it's a cost cutter, a CPA, or what it was, ended up getting to the top. And the formulas didn't make sense. And so now you go in to buy a shoe, they hand you the box and go help 3 or 4 other people. Not the same experience. Or you go buy a suit, they hand you a suit and they got maybe 1 or 2 and they say visit them online. Instead of integrated like we would for an upfitting, an automobile, a lift kit, why not put the person on on a big screen where they can see themselves and bring the suits, put them on, and then we'll order them for you, Royal. Yeah. And then we'll have a personal fitting. And the ones that work perfectly, then you'll take them home. The ones that won't, we'll send them back. They changed, and now they're just like Macy's.
Yeah, it's all just commodity products.
I love the fact you're not going to let that happen to your organization.
No, we're excited too, because one of the things we've noticed that our industry is shifting is a lot of our big national competitors that are all across the country servicing these same customer types. They're leaning more on fancy websites. Here's your dealer login, kind of a fend for yourself type mentality. We've got stock and price, but that's all we really offer. Where we're really leaning in, we've got 8 very talented outside sales guys that's all they do day to day is visiting these storefronts, building relationships, and that's something that the big national
building
guys,
that center.
Correct.
Building the way it looks, not just having somebody that doesn't have the experience to build it and make mistakes. You worked in one of them.
Correct.
And to be able to create that, so it is an experience of personalizing what you're going to drive every day.
Yep. And that's what we're really hoping to resonate is that a lot of these dealerships will see this missed opportunity, will help with some of the curriculum and some of the strategies that we're going to come up with your team.
Perfect.
And really try to implement that and set them up for success.
Now that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to take a moment here and have a word from our sponsor. We're going to take a look at this very short video on Yes, Our Kids Can. Imagine teaching your children the principles of success from their earliest thought. Watch now. Take a moment and picture in your mind igniting your child's journey to lifelong success from an early age. With Yes, Our Kids Can, this vision becomes a reality right from preschool. Don't miss this chance to shape your child's path towards extraordinary success. Enroll in the Yes, Our Kids Can University now and witness the remarkable impact it can have on your child's growth and development. Secure your child's bright future today. Sign up now by clicking the link below. If you care about success, that is an investment you ought to make with Yes, Our Kids Can. So let's continue, and I want to talk about your experience. You left Henry Day in
2004.
2004,
Yep.
and tell us about how you grew within the company, and what was your path to become president?
Yeah, so 2004, I became an outside sales rep, similar to the team of 8 that I told you about just now. And my territory was the small distribution company that had a warehouse in Salt Lake and a warehouse in Denver. And my territory was Utah, Idaho, and Western Wyoming. And every day I'd get up and make relationships, and all of these customers I would visit and offer our supply and offer our services to them. And over the course of about 4 years, I grew a lot of good, true friends that were valued customers of mine. And then 2008 hits. We all know what happened in 2008. Yes. Economy took a crash, and that distribution company had to close down their Salt Lake warehouse. So it left me in a position. I had all these customers that I'd made relationships with across those 3 states. And one of my little local shops, a local topper shop here in Ogden and Salt Lake, the owner had reached out and said, why don't we team up and do something? And so we thought, let's do the backside wholesale distribution. And I started with about 4 or 5 brands and a small roof over our head and a little tiny back shed that we started out of. And we started our own distribution center back in 2008, early 2009. And then from there, we grew it to about 50 brands. We'd had 3 different moves. And then we had sold to a private equity company in 2018 into 2019. So we had a nice exit. We had 10 years of building the market. We had covered Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming and done something we were very proud of. And then I worked for the private equity company. I was the vice president of wholesale distribution there. And they were a national company. So they had warehouses in Louisville and Texas and California. So I was doing the same type of thing, but this time I had a salary, a little bit more job security. Right. But, when you're a founder of a business, every extra dollar of profit went back into another product on the shelf. Because if I took any, I think I added up my average hourly wage for those 10 years was maybe $20 an hour on a good year. Yeah. So we did everything we could to reinvest.
Well, hopefully you got some of that back on your exit.
On the exit, it definitely helps.
With the private equity.
Absolutely.
Company.
No, it was a good opportunity just for step aside. But with the private equity group, we were now able to take that same loyal customer type and offer quadruple the products. So we just instantly blew up.
Now, normally a private equity company that buys an entity, they want to buy something that has an upside, but maybe doesn't have the capital to achieve that. And it's most of the time, and well, I'd say 99.9% of the time, they're looking for a company that already has the specialized talent team put together because they do not want to run it. They simply want to provide the capital to grow it.
Correct, and that's exactly where this was a perfect partnership. They selected us because we had the Rocky Mountains really dialed in, and they had warehouses in our own backyard, but they couldn't sell to these dealerships or to these off-road shops in their own backyard. They were great nationally, but they couldn't sell to those shops if their life depended. So that way it was, to them, an easy, inexpensive purchase of my company to acquire us and take the talent and take the team, and then back vice versa. I went right to our customers and said, I've got quadruple the line card, great value, great infrastructure. I didn't have to deal with the back end payroll and taxes and operations. I could just focus on sales, and we just succeeded like crazy.
Well, you're one of the perfect examples, I think, that, and one of the reasons we wanted to have you on this program is that the name of our company, what we do is get our folks to be able to transition into living ready, to live ready. What does that mean? Everybody's heard of the phrase, success is where opportunity and preparation intersect. Living ready is you're prepared. Now you've got the talent, now you've got the product, and then a capital investment firm brings the capital partner with the talent partner, and magic can occur if they respect each other.
Yep.
One for the capital and other for the talent, and they're equal.
They absolutely are.
Cool.
It's been a fun strategy. And then so from that company, then I went to a general manager of a local distribution group here, automotive based as well. I don't know, speak names, but it was owned by the Ken Garf Automotive Group, so A1 Distributing. Fantastic group of people to work with. Really, really very appreciative and humble that they chose me to try to run their distributorship here. And it was a great opportunity to get to learn more of the backside of the dealership operations side of the business.
And how long did you work for the Garf Group?
So almost about 2 years, just about. Fantastic group of people. And then getting to learn some of that stuff. Again, I was poached by this Competition Specialties had reached out to me. It was an opportunity I wasn't looking for, but back to Live Ready, looking at a business that it was established for 60 years, great infrastructure, and they were looking for that next leadership change and that next chapter of their life and scale. It was just a great fit. So.
And Royal, it's interesting. When you do the extra mile, when you do more than you get paid to do, it's amazing. Before too long, you get noticed as somebody who goes the extra mile, and they now want to pay a premium for your services, and others start to contact you.
No, and that was it was a humbling incentive for somebody to reach out like that and to say, we see what you've accomplished in the course of your career, and for me it was another challenge too. It was a stepping stone to say, what can I do to take something that's so foundationally set with a 60-year company, and where can we grow from here? And it was just, the opportunity was too exciting.
Well, when we look at the 10 principles that were established and introduced to our country in 1937 by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, and you talk about the core 5 of the power of thought, a positive state of mind or a negative state of mind, the power of purpose, the power of talent development, the power of actions that get executed, and the mindset in which you do them. What would you say of those core principles are the ones that you feel are you've really embraced, and it's just part of your core who you are?
I really think it's about purpose. If you believe in your heart that it provides value to you, and what you do provides value to your family and your friends and everything that's important to you as a person, it's not a job if you love what you do every day.
Right.
That's always a strategy, that if we can get your leadership team and their teams beneath them to feel that and embrace that, you're just destined for success at that point.
Well, there's no doubt that until you have a purpose, you do not have a destination.
No, exactly.
So it all starts once you find your purpose, your labor of life, if you so to speak, or your life purpose.
Exactly.
So we've talked about you in the sense of one role of your life, and that is obviously career, the creation of a capital or earning potential. But there's 4 other roles of your life: family, faith, community, and health, sound health. Tell us a little bit about you as it relates to some of those other roles of your life.
Yeah, no, I mean, business has always been a cornerstone of my life. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19 years old. It's been a great joy to be able to kind of always pursue what my heart's desired. But with that, I haven't had kids yet, but my wife and I are actually, we'll be 47. She is 47 now. We're going to have our first kid here. Really? Entering our 50s here in June, so we're super excited about that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. We've both been career people, so she's in commercial real estate, and she's just been very dedicated and passionate about that. I think she's going on 20 years in that industry too, so we've both been able to really grab and encourage what we've both done and help each other out in support of our careers.
Well, that new coming life to the game of life here on earth is going to be welcomed into a more mature, calm setting. Yeah. That I'm sure will be a positive state of mind experience. So good for them. Yeah. How lucky they are.
Well, we appreciate that. We're excited too. We talk about it a little bit much because we have the benefit and the fortune to be established and not be a struggling family.
Right.
But there's some challenges. Like we both witnessed some of our parents when we were young. They challenge and they struggle. My dad was a humble carpenter that started his own construction company, and her parents didn't come from a lot of money either, and so you learn a lot of grit. I mean, it's similar to your story too, right? When you don't come from much, you aspire and you appreciate things when the opportunity comes their way. So we're going to be a little challenged having a kid that we just have to keep them rooted, make sure they're humble and understand the passion of.
And you're going to find there's a whole lot of new time blocks you're going to have on your hands as far as family time, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the most rewarding times of your life.
Absolutely, and to follow your strategy, time blocks, that's huge. Especially when we're going to have a new one on the way, making sure you manage your time is going to be hugely important for both of us.
I'll tell you, Royal, I can't wait to see what the next 10 years are for you. But if you were talking to your team, you're the new president of the company, and you ask them to close their eyes and see what it will be 10 years from now, what would you tell them?
Well, I hope they see that each of their positions have advanced and they've grown with the company, that we weren't a company just destined on cycling more sales reps and more opportunities. We want to take our existing team, which helped build them to a very successful company after 60 years. Many of them are there 20, 30 years still to this day. We want them to realize they're part of the next chapter and be able to witness it continue from there, and then build teams of their own. And that's what's going to be exciting.
Well, I want to give you a gift for being on our program today, and this is a copy of my book, Think and Grow Rich, or Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, which is fashioned after Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We are the largest licensee of the Philosophy of Success by Dr. Hill now in the world, and so everything we teach is based on these core principles.
That's fantastic. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your time today. It's great to talk to you.
Live ready, reach higher, chase the sky. Beyond think and grow rich, you'll learn to fly. With every step forward, the future is bright. Live ready for the dreamers, ignite your life.